everyone, welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. I'm here today to celebrate my friend Julie's 10,000 subscriber milestone. Such a huge milestone. I've been doing YouTube for I think 2.5 years now, maybe almost 3. And it is so much work to get those subscribers. It just takes so much time, and I'm just so proud of her that she's reached this milestone and we're all celebrating with her. So these 2 sheets of paper here are from Meadows paper pack. And Julie made a beautiful winter page with this. I'm going to link the video down below to the page that she made. It's beautiful. And she used this sheet here. She used this side and she used this side. Now, I've used 1 sheet of this already. So I'm going to use this in placement of this. So when you scrap lift someone, that's what we're doing to celebrate Julie. Everyone's gonna scrap lift her who is involved in this celebration. So when you scrap lift someone, generally you use your own papers and just use their design. But I loved her layout, so I'm gonna copy it fairly closely. I'm gonna make some changes, of course, I always do. But so what she had in her layout is she had this paper coming in like this, and it was kind of wider, and then this one tucked down and was a bit narrower. And then she did some stamping along the edge here to kind of widen this. And then she had her pictures. So I'll bring in my pictures. So she had 1 larger picture here that kind of overlapped onto this paper a little bit, like that. And then I'm just gonna throw these on here. This is not how I'm gonna put them, but this is how she had it. And then she had a title here. It was a rectangle cut with a flag on the bottom. And then on this side, she just had, I don't have the right pictures here, so I'll show you with these. Pictures like this. That's what she had on this side. Now I'm gonna do it a little bit different because you see I have these 2 little ones in place of a big one. And I'm 1 picture short, but I'm just gonna make my journaling larger because she had an embellishment cluster here, and I'm gonna have an embellishment cluster and a larger journaling block over here. So what happened is we went on a hike, and the girls did 1 hike and the boys did another hike. So I want to keep those separate. Now this is from the boys' hike, but we left from the same parking lot, so we saw this too. So I'm comfortable with this being on the girls' side of the page. So I think I'm gonna go like this actually. Oh, and I think Julie had this one bumped out, and then these ones kind of in, so the grid was like this, and then this one stuck out from the grid. And so then this would be the title right here. And then this was just a grid as well. So I think I'm going to do something like this. Maybe this one on top. Right, and then I'm gonna have embellishment and journaling block over here and title over here. So I'm not sure how Julie made her title. I'm trying to remember, but I think she printed it off, maybe used print and cut. But what I did is I went onto Canva and I found a background on Canva that I thought was really pretty. So here is my title. So this was a background, a free background on Canva. Then I used a text box here and 2 different text box, and I just adjusted the colors so that they would fit with my layout. So this is going to go here, and I think I'm going to flag this in the bottom. She did that and I liked it. It looked good. And then I used the same background and stretched it larger. It turns to white up here. You can kind of see the line, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. But I think I'm going to put that here. Not sure if I'm going to go up to there. And I think I'm going to flag that as well. So I could possibly do it like this too and flag it here and just kind of have the embellishments coming around this picture of the guys. So that's kind of where I'm going. So that's the basic layout. So I'm going to put this together, or at least cut out the papers, because she had some stamping with this stamp set here. I believe she used this one, and she stamped all along here. With like a brown or beigey color, maybe crumb cake or something like that. And then she used this for her embellishment clusters with a lot of foliage. So I don't have the same foliage as her, but I have some foliage cut to add in as well. So I'm going to get these guys cut down to size. I'm not sure I'll have to go and check her video for a minute and see if I can, if she tells the exact size, but I think I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, so I think I can figure it out. I'm just going to take a pencil and mark where my layout pieces here are going to end so that I can do that background stamping that I was talking about that Julie had on her page. The background stamping is, to me, it looks like a birch tree kind of print, and I really like it. I think it kind of dupes you into believing that you have another patterned paper on the page, but really it's just stamped onto the background. Now it's been just about a year with Stampin' Up, and I am getting used to the different things. Some things are the same, some things are different. One thing that is certainly different is the cling stamps, and as you can see right here, I got ink on the edge of the stamp and I put ink on my background of my layout, like a perpendicular line from the edge of the stamp. So I flipped it over, took the sticky part off, and I started over on this side. I drew my pencil lines again, and I gave myself another chance at it. And what do you know? I did it again right at the end here. Right at the end, right there. I just did it again. So I decided that I wasn't doing it one more time. I used a white gel pen to color over that spot, and you can hardly see it. I don't think it'll be noticeable at all once I'm under the page protector. But yeah, I was kind of frustrated with myself that I did that again at the very end there. I also stamped down this side. Julie had done this as well. So I'm going from where it's going to be under the paper right to the edge. And I wasn't that good at doing this. I noticed that I did a lot of overlapping. So I just kind of went over it and overlapped on purpose a bunch more so that you wouldn't notice. And you know, when the layout's all together, you actually don't notice these imperfections. And in a few spots, I did get the edge on there again, and I just took that white gel pen again, and you couldn't see it at all. So this is my title I made on Canva, and I'm just going to find the center here to make it easier. I, of course, dovetailed off camera. I wasn't thinking there. And then I just used that dovetail to copy it to get the same angle on the other piece of paper because it was the same width. I decided that I needed some earthy tones in this layout because Julie's layout is in the winter in snow, so the white really went well with it, but I felt like this needed some brown or something earthy to kind of bring it into the summer feel. And so I do bring in this paper from the Woven Textures papers, and I do it a little bit differently in the end, but I do like how this looks. So I've got it this way right now, and I kind of wanted to create more of a presence for the title here, and I thought maybe a grouping of 3 flags would make it look nice. And then I brought in this green, and I really like how it brings out the green in the pictures, and it is also adding a little more presence to that title there. So I'm having a grouping of 3 little flags underneath my title. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this day of hiking. The guys were going to do a hike that my son really wanted to do. It was a summit, and I knew it was a grueling hike. It's called Vision Quest. And I didn't want anything to do with that hike because it's straight up. It's like, I don't know how many feet, at least 800 feet of elevation gain, maybe more. And it's like, it's not very long, so you just go straight up. But from the same parking lot, we could go to White Goat Falls. And White Goat Falls is in the picture beside us girls there. It's like a punch bowl waterfall, and it's a fun little hike. So us girls did that, and we got back to the parking lot, and the guys had their own vehicles. So we headed back to camp and made supper, and we had a good supper ready for them when they got back. I think it was actually lasagna. We made it in the barbecue. And you can see there that I did change up a little bit my pieces on top and bottom. I made them shorter because I didn't like those brown pieces that were sticking out so far. And here I'm toying with whether I want to put one of these or both of them underneath this teal blue paper. I also added a little green diagonal strip, and that's from Serene Love, which I believe is on clearance right now if it's still available. And I put a little strip of it on the far right side just to bring a little bit of that green paper to the right side of the page. I'm also going to bring the green in my stamping. I stamped a bunch of little leaves that are in this shade pretty well. Now I'm going to work on the elements for my embellishment clusters. I am using the golden greenery. I pre-stamped already those little heart-shaped kind of leaves and cut them out. Then I have these sprigs. They're also from golden greenery, and that pine cone is actually from my stash. I think we have a pine cone die in the catalog right now, and if we do, I will list it down below. And there's a few little pine trees there. That little row of pine trees is from Peaceful Evergreens. Anything that's available, I will list down below. I believe that the stamp set might still be available for that golden greenery, but I think the dies are gone now. They were on the clearance though, so it is quite affordable. I added a little bit of shading to those pine cones with a blending brush, and then I added a little bit of shading to the sprigs, just the pine bows, with the blending brush as well, just to give them some variation so that they would not be so flat looking. So now I got all my bits and pieces ready. I am going to bring back in my layouts and put this aside. And once I get my layout situated here, I can start arranging my embellishment clusters. Now, textured timber finally sold out on the clearance rack. It was very cheap on the clearance rack for quite some time, but it did sell out, so hopefully you have it. And if you don't, I'm sure we're going to have another wood grain stamp set down the road. And you can use a different type of circle as a landing spot, but I'm going to use these log rounds as landing spots. I just love them for that purpose. They're so pretty. And I'm going to give each embellishment cluster a couple of my items that I have ready here. I don't think I put the trees in every cluster. I do put them in this title spot, and I do place a few in other spots around the page. But for the most part, I just use the sprigs that I have and the pine cones. A really easy thing to work with on layouts like this for an embellishment is actually florals, but obviously florals would be okay on this page, but this kind of greenery is much better. But the thing that the pine cones do is they replace the flowers because they're kind of a round item, right? So you can have a pine cone where your sprigs kind of originate from, which is kind of nice. You can see I brought those evergreens into the top there, and they look really good there, and they help to cover up my boo-boo in my stamping. It wouldn't have mattered if it would have shown, but my flags and my evergreens cover it up, so you can't even see it anymore. My favorite layouts have a limited color palette, and this layout has a limited color palette, and I loved how it turned out. I just think they're less busy because there's not so many colors going on that I'm bringing in. And of course, these are my favorite colors, the earthy tones. So the color palette here is basically brown, green, and like a teal blue. What's really nice about my little Canva title and journaling is that they kind of bring all the colors in, or at least the title spot does. And then I just can kind of go from there. And because there's like a bunch of different greens in that title spot, I could just kind of choose greens that were very similar. I ended up stamping, I think, with sage and olive. Those are close to my heart colors. And I believe it's old olive. That's the diagonal stripe piece from Serene Love. The watercolory look to the papers and my little canvas spots definitely lend themselves to being able to match inks quite easily. I really wanted to bring in those trees from Peaceful Evergreens, even though I think they're meant to be snowy trees. I think they look fine. And I really wanted to bring them in because I felt they really matched that tree paper on the right-hand side. I think they look really nice together. The lake in front of the mountain on the focal picture is kind of a teal blue. Against this dark teal, it looks more like a true blue. But if you kind of look at it against the sky, the picture, you can see it's like greeny blue. It's a beautiful lake. It's called Abraham Lake. I did find I didn't have quite enough of those evergreen pieces, those evergreen sprigs. So I quickly cut myself out one more so that I could kind of ground that far right layout, because my journaling didn't have the teal blue like the title did. So I wanted to add a little bit more of that teal blue to bring it across to the right hand side. You can see that just like Julie's layout, some of my sprigs are going to go behind the log round and some are going in front of the log round. And then I'll put the pine cones on the very top. So just play until you like what you see. It just takes a little bit of trial and error. I also still had one little row of evergreens left over that needed a home. So I did find, I tried them in a bunch of different places, but I ended up finding I liked them best above the guy's picture there. So these are the easiest pictures in the world to scrapbook, of course, because they are such beautiful pictures. But I really am happy that Julie gave me the inspiration to do this layout. And I took a very winter layout from her and created a summer hiking layout. So I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. And I wanted it to kind of say one beautiful day, two beautiful hikes. So hopefully that works for the title. Hopefully that's how you guys read it. I added a few little dots, I never know what to call them, from my stash. Some of them are current and some of them aren't. And that is the finished layout. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you'll hit that thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.